Picture this, you've got to commute an hour, 15 minutes each way. That's 2.5 hours a day, every day, staring at brake lights, listening to the same 6 songs, which include more than words, and You Shook Me All Night Long, slowly becoming the kind of person who has opinions about other people's merging. And you know what would fix this? A car that drives itself. And then you go shopping for that car, and you watch half the industry quietly back away from the table like they just remembered that they left the oven on. That's where we are, and it's a problem here. What's happening, Panda Nation? Peter Von Panda here. Today, I'm talking about self-driving cars, but not the part you usually hear about. Not, oh, will the robot car kill me? Which it will. That's not what I'm talking about today. The part I want to talk about is the way more boring sounding, but way more important. Competition. Because I think the self-driving race is quietly turning into a one-horse show. And a one-horse show is a great way of getting a horse that stops giving a shit. So let me lay out where my head is at. About a year ago, I started a job that, I'm using the technical term here, a long ways away. The commute is roughly an hour 15 each direction. I'm not a man who dreams of driving in city traffic for over an hour twice a day. Nobody dreams of that. That's not a dream. That's just a sentence. It's usually a complaint. So I started looking at cars with some self-driving help to lighten the load. And here's the funny part. When I started looking, I was comparing 3 systems: Ford's Blue Cruise, Chevy's Super Cruise, and Tesla's Autopilot. And they were all about the same, actually. Genuinely about the same. It was a real race. In fact, at the time I was reading, Super Cruise was getting the best ratings of the bunch. GM was the one to beat. And if you told me back then that one of these would pull out way ahead of the others, I'd have put my money on Chevy. Fast forward to today, and the picture has completely changed. As far as I can tell, Tesla's full self-driving, supervised version, the one where you still have to babysit it, is far and away the most capable consumer system out there. It's not even close anymore. And I want to be careful here because this is where everybody's brain splits into 2 angry teams. So let me be precise about what I'm saying and what I'm not. I am not saying Tesla solved self-driving yet. They haven't. Their system is still officially level 2, driver assisted. Despite Elon Musk's bold promises, the system remains classified as level 2 driver assist technology, meaning that human supervision is still required. Tesla has been promising true hands-off, eyes-off driving for a long time, and I want you to feel this number here a little bit. Almost a decade. Anyway, Musk promised full autonomy by 2018, 1 million robo-taxis by 2020, and unsupervised FSD by 2025. If a contractor misses deadlines like that, you're gonna fire them. Not to mention, you'll probably change your locks and maybe even your name. But listen, here's the thing about it, and this is the part that really matters. Within the world of the system you combine a car you own and use on your normal commute, Tesla is genuinely ahead. Their system tries to do city streets, intersections, the whole drive door to door. And the reason it's pulling ahead isn't magic, it's scale. Tesla's full self-driving fleet has crossed 10 billion miles, and by late April was logging roughly 29 million miles a day, up from 14 million miles per day at the start of the year. So let me put that 25 million miles a day in human terms, because it is kind of mind-blowing. That is like driving to the moon and back 60 times every day. Every car out there running FSD is basically a tiny unpaid intern, mailing back driver footage back to headquarters every single trip. This is a data flywheel, and it spins faster the more cars they sell. It's a snowball, and Tesla is standing at the top of a very, very long hill. So that is the good news for Tesla. It's actually great news. Now, here's the part that actually keeps me up at night and the reason I'm making this whole episode. Where are the other guys? Let's do a roll call here. Remember Super Cruise, the system that was winning when I started shopping. GM is still in it, and credit where it's due. Roughly 750,000 Super Cruise users have now logged 1 billion hands-free miles. That's real, but there's a catch. Super Cruise is a highway system only. It works beautifully on pre-mapped divided highways. The mapped road restriction means the system doesn't help in city driving, non-highway trunk roads, or in areas GM has a map. It's fantastic at exactly 1 chapter of the book, and it refuses to read the other chapters. Ford's Blue Cruise, same story, a little different flavor. Blue Cruise now supports hands-free driving on around 150,000 miles of North American divided highways, up from 130,000 miles the year before. Good system. Also basically a highway-only system. Now here's the comparison I want to land on. Both of those systems are like a guy who is absolutely a world-class swimmer, but only when he's in an Olympic-sized regulation pool. Beautiful technique, gorgeous form, put him in a lake, and he just stands there going, where? What's going on? Listen, Tesla's system, for all its flaws, at least gets in the lake. It tries the whole trip. And for the guy with my commute, city, highway, city, neighborhood streets, it tries the whole trip, is the entire ball game. And then look at who's been backing away. And this is the part that really actually worries me. Mercedes. had one of the only true eyes-off level 3 systems you could buy in America. The fancy one where you're legally allowed to stop paying attention, at least for a little while. And what did they just do? For the 2026 S-Class, Mercedes stepped back from offering an updated level 3 drive pilot system and will instead deploy a level 2++ driver assisted system in the US. They walked it back. The flagship of German engineering looked at the eyes-off finish line and went, let's do the eyes thing only. Now, Mercedes is not alone on this. Both Honda and Mercedes have discontinued their level 3 system, and so far only Honda, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz ever sold them, albeit in limited volumes. So the count of automakers selling true eyes-off systems in America right now is hovering somewhere around 0. Everyone who tried it found out how hard it is and quietly stepped off the ride. And this is my actual fear, not the robots, the forfeit of it all. I'm watching companies discover how brutally difficult and expensive autonomous driving really is, decide the whole market is shifting to Tesla anyway, and then they just tap out. And here's the question I want you to sit with, because I want to know your answers. Do you think Tesla pulling ahead is causing other companies to look at this problem and just say, to hell with it? Or are they competing just quietly behind the scenes? I'm not really sure. Because if everyone just concedes the self-driving, here's what we lose. And it has nothing to do with technology. It has to do with you, the person with the wallet. Competition is the only thing on earth that reliably does two jobs at once. It pushes the product to get better and it pushes the price to come down. Take away competition and you take away the reason to do either. If Tesla becomes the only game in town, what exactly is the incentive to make FSD cheaper next year or dramatically better the following year? I don't think they'd stop developing it, to be honest, but the pressure changes. Right now, a huge amount of that pressure is coming from Waymo breathing down their neck or Zoox and their self-driving machines. Take Waymo's pressure away, and you've got a monopoly's gym membership, technically still paying for it, mysteriously not showing up. And here's the thing people miss. Different companies could win different parts of this. It doesn't have to be a one system to rule them all. Take Waymo. Waymo uses LiDAR, those spinning laser sensors Tesla famously refuses to use. While Waymo is equipping its cars with expensive LiDAR units, Tesla CEO called the tech a crutch and bet on camera sensors only, which cost about $1 to $10 each. Now, on a normal city street, you can argue camera versus lasers all day, but I think about where LiDAR would be genuinely unbeatable. Off-road. A camera, like your own eyeball, basically sees a flat picture and guesses at depth. LiDAR physically measures the shape of the world, bouncing lasers off it. So, picture a military vehicle or a search and rescue truck or an exploration rover crawling across unpaved terrain with no lane lines, no map, no roads. The camera sees brown ground. LiDAR sees the brown patch is actually a 4-foot crevasse and that shadow is actually a boulder. It can read terrain in a way that the human eye just can't. And that is a whole category of self-driving, off-road rescue exploration that a road book trained camera-only AI is never going to be the right tool for. That's a lane, pun fully intended, for someone other than Tesla to own completely. So who's left to keep this race honest? Well, there are a few sparks left. Mercedes says it's redirecting its engineers towards a future level 3 and even a level 4 driverless system. So apparently they didn't quit, they just regrouped, maybe? NVIDIA is supplying the brains for a bunch of automakers. Some Chinese automakers are pushing hard, and Rivian CEO said he thinks most drives should be autonomous within the next 5 years. That is the right energy. I just want to see it actually ship. And then there's Waymo, which honestly might be the most important name on this whole list. Because Waymo is doing the thing nobody else is. Waymo operates a level 4 with no human behind the wheel, has expanded to driverless operations in 10 cities, and reports 90% fewer serious injury-causing crashes than human drivers across 127 million-ish miles. And here's the crucial difference, the one that separates the marketing from the reality. Waymo takes legal responsibility for the driving. That's the real finish line. Not the car drove pretty well. It's the company is willing to sign its name on the line. Waymo is the one that's actually standing on that line, and as long as it stands on it, everyone else has a reason to keep running. So here's where I am. I am rooting for Tesla to keep getting better, genuinely. I am rooting just as hard for everyone else to stay in the fight. Keep pushing, GM. Keep pushing forward. Keep funding it, Mercedes, Rivian, NVIDIA. Keep going, Waymo and Zoox. Not because I'm sentimental about it, but because the day this becomes a one-company sport is the day the prices stop falling and the progress starts slowing. A race with one runner isn't a race. It's just a dude jogging, accepting the trophy at the end and quietly wondering why he even bothers stretching. Competition is good. Competition is, if I may, a totally fetch thing. It's the thing that turns someday maybe into this year and cheaper than last year. So, am I the only one that really wants self-driving, but also really wants a competition? I want to know. Keep pushing, everybody. The race is the point. Peter Von Panda, out.